The Goin gets tough from the get-go is the guitar part now, again requested by Nate Brewster, and specifically is based off the live at the Cat's Cradle version, which has a lot of these sort of licks in it. Again, there's no guitar on the actual album version. It's just bass, and the only other lick, I'll teach that lick right now actually, is based on this little, it's a really simple little pattern played by what sounds like synthesized little like bell noises or whatever it is. And it just goes, I'll turn this phaser off. I'm using a phaser to mimic the sound of a wah pedal because I have wah, as you can probably see behind me, but I don't use it while I'm recording videos because it's awkward, right? So just pretend I have a wah pedal, because that's basically what this is all predicated upon, is using the wah to modify the sound of it, especially when you're strumming chords and you're, opening up the filter slowly, the wah, and you're doing all that for all this staccato kind of funky stuff. Anyway, so this bell lick that you hear on the recording is just, you can play this a number of ways. It's just a little pattern if you want to do that. It's just F sharp, G sharp, E. You can play it there if you want to, on the B string if you want to go, or want to play it up here, land there on the G string, whatever. Really simple thing. And you could just play it like, you can add that extra, you could just play 3 notes, or you could go add that extra little on that. But that's just a simple little pattern if you're wondering what's going on in there. All right, so it's basically, again, this is an F sharp minor, and that's how I'm assuming they recorded it. That's how it sounds, and this performance is as well. Although if you try to play along with it, I guess it's just because of the nature of the tape they recorded it on or whatever of that live recording. But the pitch is real warbly, and it's like down a little bit. So if you try to play along standard, it's going to sound all dissonant, right? So I don't know if I should keep my phaser on. I guess I will, just to emulate the sound of the wah pedal, right? And that's the only little riff that he does, is you can kind of hear it when you hear the bass line, but it's based off this little chromatic run on the E string, right? Up to F sharp. He kind of does little power chords there. He does it without wah, but whatever. And that's just a little riff he does in there. I think he only does it like once at the very beginning. Anyway, so generally the licks he plays are going to be, very percussive, very funky kind of stuff. So he starts off, and these sort of open position ones, they're not really super precise in terms of how you play them or what the notes are. It's just you're playing around and rocking out an F sharp minor, right? So but so a lot of palm muting, right? So that's a sort of pulling off there. Little bend up there on the G string, 4th fret, and a lot of that staccato. You bend it up and then you mute it, and then you end up on that note. Give it a little hook if you want. And that's how you end that. And then he does. Right, so lots of that in these licks, is lots of sort of muted, and you're strumming. these double stops or whatever, right? So this is like 4th fret on the G and B. You're basically just playing with these. And then occasionally, you know, hitting these notes on the D string. This kind of lick that he does there. And then he does this pretty cool lick. It's probably my favorite lick that he does in this particular performance. So it's, right, so 2nd fret of the G and E, sorry, B and E. And then he hits that twice, and then lots of muted strumming. Again, wah, kind of goes without saying at this point, but that's throughout this whole performance, basically. And then he does this cool little thing, like little bluesy thing. So he's getting that major 3rd in there. On the G string, hammering on 2nd to 3rd. And letting that ring open those 2 strings. And then he strums that. And then G and B, pull off 2nd fret. And then, now he could be going, sort of barring his finger on the 2nd finger there of the G and B, and then playing the B, and then plucking the B and then the G string and pulling off from the 4th to the 2nd, and then to the 4th of the D string. But I prefer sliding down there from like the 5th fret of the G down to the 4th, and then pulling off. And then he goes little G minor thing there. Pull off from 5 to 3 to 5 on the D. Right, so cool little lick. And then at some point he goes, this is another cool lick. Right, so this up here, it's same position, it's just, you know, the octave higher. So just, it actually sounds pretty cool down there in that open position, but it sounds cool up here. Right, so 16th to 14th fret G and B strings. And again, lots of percussive strumming and muting throughout this entire thing. I know I'm repeating it, but it bears repeating because that's kind of the whole thing here, right? So hit that twice, and then hit that once, and then he's going to keep his keep that note on the 14th of the G for the rest of it, right? So, and now he's going to move his finger up around on the B string. Right, so 16th, 17th, back to 16th. So he's going to do that, pull off, and then bend up, and then pull off, and then he's going to go down and hit the G note, and hit that one little double stop there again. Slide that down, and that's that lick. And then at some point during the chorus, he just kind of goes into, as the best I can tell, is that these 3 notes here, I don't know what, you could play them down here probably, but I think it's cool, best sounds and feels the best up in this position. So that's A string 9, and you mute the D string, and G string 9, B string 10, and mute the other strings. So little F sharp minor 7 thing there with no 5th, and then that's sort of a fill in between. And he also does so this is a weird one because it kind of sounds like you'd think he'd be using this like classic sort of 9 chord, right, with this note in there, because that's very much a chord that's associated with the funk. And that could be in there, but that's really hard for me to hear, especially with the wah going on and the little bit of distortion and the tape warble, not to mention. But so that very well could be in there, and I'm just not hearing it. So if you want to add that, by all means, it really doesn't make that much of a difference in this case, I don't think. But I kind of am used to it. I kind of prefer it without that sound, but if you want to include it, by all means. So that's just, it's all on the 9th fret here, and it's, you know, this 9th chord. Whether or not you include this note on the D string on 1 fret lower is up to you. I just hear this note. So on the A string 9 and all the others, the G through E strings, same fret, right? So, and you hear him go, so you hear him slide up from the fret below. And then you hear him go 1 fret higher and go, right? So it's basically that, right? And he does another one of these sort of open position licks. I have no idea what it is. It's something along those lines. Just play in there. It's something along those lines. It's something in that open F sharp area. Right, so you can basically play anything there. And he also he goes up here, and he just, as far as I can tell, it's just this double stop here of little tritone there, a little funky kind of thing, on the 14, 16 of the G and B respectively. And it's just purely a rhythmic thing. I don't think there's any note variation. It's just, he's just going. Just do whatever rhythm you want there, really. And he also is gonna go. I think this might be my favorite fill that he does, just because it's so silly sounding. He's basically gonna go. This is in the. I think it's in the second verse. He goes. He's just again muting and just strumming. Just. I can't remember if it's 3 or 4 hits, but it's just a quick little strum, right? So it's just on the 17th fret of the B and E, right? It's pretty funny sounding because it's just, okay. Just a little strikes that little strum in there. And that's the last sort of unique fill that he does in the song. And that's pretty much it. So thank you very much for watching this lesson. I hope you enjoyed listening to this song. It's a really fun version of it, and it's an interesting song. You know, for the guitars, in a way, it's kind of de-emphasized because obviously the bassists are carrying the song, and the drums. It's really a drum and bass carried song, instrumentally speaking. But when they play it live, of course, it gives him all the room to, while he's sort of emceeing or whatever, he's also, you know, doing a lot of fun fills of whatever he wants on the guitar. So it's a lot of fun, and it's very interesting. It's a cool song to learn on guitar, but also bass and whatever instrument you like. So thank you for watching. Take care.